Why is it that the royals always seem to lead the most fascinating lives? It's as though we just cannot get enough and take any opportunity to learn and know more about their secrets. The story of Sarah Ferguson, Duchess of York, is no exception to that. Her story is truly as wild as it gets. Sarah Ferguson, born Sarah Margaret Ferguson, is a British member of the royal family and the former wife of now disgraced Prince Andrew, Duke of York. Sarah was raised in Dummer, New Hampshire and attended Queen's Secretarial College. In 1985, she met Prince Andrew and began a relationship with him which would change her life forever. They had a brief courtship and were married on July 23, 1986. Sarah had a fun spirit and was initially considered a wonderful addition to the royal family, but that would soon change. Sarah and Prince Andrew's relationship was troubled from the start. Sarah has said that for the first 5 years of their marriage, she only saw her husband for 40 days per year. That is certainly quite a bit of time for newlyweds to be spending apart, and likely added to their mounting marital issues. In 1991 and 1992, newspapers began circling around her friendship with Texan millionaire Steve Wyatt. In March of 1992, the Duke and Duchess of York announced their separation. Following the separation, the palace announced that Sarah would no longer be a working member of the royal family, and the Queen released a statement saying that she would not take responsibility for Sarah's debts. Ouch. 1992 saw even more embarrassment for the crown caused by Sarah's choices and behavior. The British tabloid Daily Mirror published inappropriate photographs of Sarah canoodling with American financial manager John Bryan. In some of the photos, Sarah was sunbathing topless, and John Bryan was even captured kissing her toes. Talk about the opposite of acceptable royal behavior. News outlets had a field day with the romantic nude displays, and the French magazine Paris Match was ordered to pay £84,000 for the damage it caused from the publication of those photos. It was reported that Queen Elizabeth was absolutely furious with Sarah over the mortifying scandal. Of course, the photos made it directly to her, and there was no hiding her escapades at all. Many people believe it was this incident that really put the nail in the coffin and marked the end of Sarah's life as a true royal. What a mistake to make. In another story, news broke that Sarah had sent Princess Margaret flowers, to which Margaret responded by saying, "You have done more to bring shame on the family than could have ever been imagined." Clearly, Princess Margaret had strong feelings about Sarah, but can we blame her? After 4 years of Sarah and Prince Andrew's separation, they finally decided to officially call it quits. Their divorce was announced in 1996, another major headline for the press to seize. Sarah had famously said that she was given a small amount of money to live and had to depend on her income from being a Weight Watchers spokesperson to make a living. Senior officials disputed this information and said that Sarah was given much more than she let on. A $500,000 home, over $350,000 in cash, and a monthly allowance that was estimated at around $500,000. It has been estimated that the Duchess's entire settlement reached $3 million, a far cry from what she had claimed. She even went as far as to say that the Queen and the royal family had basically cut her off completely, but clearly that was not the case. Why did Sarah say this if it wasn't true? What was quite strange about Sarah and Prince Andrew's divorce was the living arrangements they continued to endure until 2004. They resided in the same house, the Royal Lodge at Windsor, even following their split. Sarah has commented on their unusual arrangements, saying that the love I have for him and he has for me is just very different from what normal people have. She went on to say, "We have great respect and love for each other. It really is our own fairy tale, and it's our own lives, how we like to be, with total respect and honor to each other." Between that sentiment and the size of the Royal Lodge, apparently it was just what seemed to work. But Sarah couldn't stay away from the drama, and the more she created it, the more the royal family was enveloped in it as well. She released her own book, Ahem, Prince Harry, and way before Meghan Markle and Prince Harry did their Oprah interview, Sarah did one first. In the interview, Sarah shared very personal details and described living at Buckingham Palace in a negative way. Sarah tried to live her own life and was making good money as an ambassador for Weight Watchers at one point, but soon she found herself in a business that would drain any money she had. She decided to create her own lifestyle brand and ended up going into severe debt. The American press dubbed her Duchess of Debt. which was, of course, highly unflattering. This debacle would lead Sarah into the biggest pickle she ever got herself into, and the absolute biggest mistake she ever made. With money troubles galore, the princess was caught in a sting where she was recorded offering full access to Prince Andrew for approximately $500,000. Expose specialist Mazur, fake chic, met with Sarah posing as a businessman and recorded her indecent requests. Sarah said, "Look after me, and he'll look after you." Of course, the press went insane over the scandal, and Sarah released a statement assuring the world that Prince Andrew had no idea about the arrangement. She called it a serious lapse in judgment. Understatement of the century. Sarah was doing a 60 Minutes interview when she stormed out after being asked about the famous incident. This caused even more media attention, and once again dragged the royal family into unwanted drama. It seemed Sarah had a way of doing that, and it was not appreciated by the Queen. Apparently, both Queen Elizabeth and Prince Philip felt the same about Sarah. It was known that Prince Philip couldn't even stand to be in the same room as her, and she knew that if he was around, she was unwelcome. But still, she never went away. In 2009, she took part in a documentary called The Duchess on the Estate. The documentary immediately drew up a ton of criticism from residents of Manchester's Northern Moor for portraying the area in a very negative light. Sarah acted like the wealthy benefactress going into an area to save the undeserving poor people. It was not appreciated by the residents, and protests began forming around the documentary's release. She was accused of being condescending and speaking ill about a real place for her own financial benefit. The backlash, of course, got worse and worse after the show aired. Another notch on the belt of unwanted drama for Sarah and the royal family. But perhaps the most controversial event of all was Sarah and Prince Andrew's involvement with sex offender and trafficker Jeffrey Epstein. This was a relationship Sarah nor Andrew will ever live down, and their constant efforts to minimize or justify it will never work. The relationship between the ex-couple and Jeffrey Epstein goes back to the late 1990s. But what exactly was Sarah's involvement with Epstein? Well, Sarah has said that Epstein helped to give her a wider restructuring of her debt. In other words, he gave her a ton of cash. Ferguson has said, "I personally, on behalf of myself, deeply regret that Jeffrey Epstein became involved in any way with me, but not everyone buys it. And they certainly don't buy it from her ex, Prince Andrew, who is now an entirely disgraced royal who has been stripped of all his duties and honors." Sarah has repeatedly expressed her unwavering support for her ex-husband, saying that he is a kind man and a fabulous dad, despite his ties to Epstein. In February of 2019, the FBI announced that it would be investigating Prince Andrew and his ties to the now-deceased Epstein. Apparently, Andrew was known as Randy Andy and has been accused of having sex with Epstein's underage sex slave, Virginia Giuffre. Giuffre has said that she was 17 at the time of their first sexual encounter, and that she went on to have sex with the prince another 2 times. Prince Andrew has denied all of Virginia Giuffre's accusations, but worked with her to reach an out-of-court settlement. Apparently, Prince Andrew paid Giuffre $16 million in addition to donating to charities of her choice. Attorney Jeffrey Berman said that Prince Andrew provided zero cooperation when they probed into his relations with Epstein. But still, his ex-wife, Sarah Ferguson, vowed her commitment to Prince Andrew and vouched for his goodness. It's hard to understand how she doesn't have any negative feelings towards the situation regarding her ex-husband and his alleged involvement with underage girls. Strange to say the least. But this wasn't the only controversy that Sarah would find herself in during recent years. In October 2018, during the wedding of Sarah and Prince Andrew's daughter, Princess Eugenie, to Jack Brooksbank, it was reported that Prince Harry and Meghan decided to share the news that they were expecting a baby. Apparently, Sarah did not like the timing of their announcement, as she felt it took away attention from the wedding day of her daughter and son-in-law. So she took to Twitter, where she sent out 5 tweets in 5 hours, all about her daughter's wedding to counterbalance the news of the baby. Was it rude that the Duke and Duchess of Sussex made their exciting announcement on the wedding day of Princess Eugenie, and did it break some kind of unspoken royal code? Well, no, not officially, but to Sarah, it obviously did. Another attention-grabbing event with Sarah occurred when she compared herself to Meghan Markle, saying that she has been in Meghan's shoes. She went on to question why Meghan couldn't be great and talked about how she opposed bullying. Perhaps Sarah really did feel that she had been in Meghan's shoes, but to some of the world, it was a shocking comparison. Meghan, on one hand, has experienced alleged racism against her, as well as vicious attacks from the media. Anything Sarah did seems to have been brought on by herself, so it's a difficult comparison to stomach, to say the least. So where does Sarah Ferguson stand now? There are rumors swirling that Prince Andrew and Sarah Ferguson might remarry. Apparently, Prince Andrew believes he will regain some of his lost dignity if he remarries the mother of his children. A desperate political move? Or real rekindled true love? It's hard to say, and no one really knows, of course. Sarah took to Instagram in the beginning of 2023 and posted a photo of herself alongside a French politician with the caption, "Meeting new friends and making exciting plans for 2023. This happened soon after King Charles threw his baby brother out of Buckingham Palace, a move that most people supported, as Prince Andrew has very serious allegations against him, and any involvement with him risks the future of the monarch. Her Instagram post seemed lathered with desperation to remain relevant and working, but the monarch has made it very clear that neither Sarah nor Prince Andrew are working members of the royal family. Should Sarah Ferguson stay in her lane, so to speak? Let us know what you think in the comment section. All in all, it is truly a tangled web that Sarah Ferguson has weaved. What started out as every woman's fairy tale quickly spun into something entirely different, something of nightmares. A marriage supposedly riddled with absences and affairs, dark dealings and betrayals, and now ties to one of the biggest registered sex offenders and scandals of the century, the Jeffrey Epstein case. Perhaps Prince Philip and Queen Elizabeth were onto something when they sensed that they should have as little to do as possible with Sarah Ferguson. And now King Charles III has the difficult responsibility of deciding between loyalty to family and doing what is right for the monarch. Sarah Ferguson once said that she was the most persecuted woman in the royal family. She said that she endured years of media hell, but she also said, "In my blood, there is resilience." Do you think that Sarah Ferguson will ever make a comeback from the mistakes she has made and continue to make it in the public eye? And is her unwavering support of her husband sweet or insane? We would love to know what you think in the comment section below.